Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Text 24. Puro dashnam chamukayam mambiri partha brihaspatam seninam aham skanda sarvasham ashmi sargaha. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati, the Lord of devotion. Of generals, I am Skanda, the Lord of war, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Text 25. Maharishnam Briguraham Giram Ashmi Ekam Aksharam Yagnam Japaya Yoshmi Stavatam Himalaya. Of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Text 26. Ashvataha sarva vrikshanam devashrinam janardaha Gandharvanam chittarasaha Siddhanam kapila munihi. Of all trees, I am the holy fig tree, and amongst sages and demigods, I am Narada. Of the singers of the gods, Gandharvas, I am Chittarasa, and among the perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Text 27. Uchrishashvanam Vidhimam amutibhavam Arirvatam gajendranam Nadanam cha naratipam. Of horses, know me to be Uchrahirshra, who rose out of the ocean, born of the elixir of immortality. Of lordly elephants, I am Airvata, and among men, I am the monarch. Text 28. Ayudanam aham vajram denunam asmi kamaduk prajanas chashmi kanarpa sarpanam ashmi vasukihi. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the shurabi, givers of abundant milk. Of procreators, I am Kandarpa, the god of love, and of servants, I am Vasuki, the chief. Text 29. Anantaschasmi naganam aruno yadashamaham pitunam aryama chashmi yama samyatam aham. Of the celestial naga snakes, I am Ananta. Of the aquatic deities, I am Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, Lord of death. Text 30. Kaladas chasmi dayatanam kala kalatam aham mriganam cha mrigendro chapishanam. Among the Dayata demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda, the feathered carrier of Vishnu. Text 31. Pavanaha pavatam asmi Rama shashtabhutamaham Yunisham makarashashmi Shrotasam ashmi janavi. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of the fishes, I am the shark. And of floating rivers, I am the Ganges. Text 32. Sarganam madhiranantascha madhyam chaivaham arjuna adatna vida vidyanam pada pravadhamaham. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Is there one more? Is that it? Okay, back to text 22 of chapter 10, entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. Of Sri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, knowledge. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by a combination of matter. So, in these texts here, Krishna is giving us some examples on how we can begin to understand Him. And we've been given these bodies by God to understand who God, these human bodies by God, to understand who God is, and understanding that the real identity is indeed separate from this body. And Prabhupada said in this little purport here, consciousness cannot be produced by a combination of matter. So this is very straightforward and to the point, but it's very nectar, because there's a lot of so-called scientists these days teaching that everything comes from nothing, that life comes from matter. But it's really cool when you go out in books. We have this one book called Life Comes from Life, and you give that to somebody, it doesn't matter who they are. And you say, yeah, that's a practical statement, isn't it? Life comes from life. That just makes sense. And then they, most of the time, always agree with that. Like, yeah, that does make sense. Life comes from matter. It's like, wait, hold on. That's like this whole thing you have to then go and try to explain. And most of the time people just get confused in the explanation of that. And they go, oh, okay, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, because he's made up so many lies to back up this one claim. But if we just go to the simple life comes from life, that just makes simple sense right there. Even this statement, consciousness cannot be produced from a combination of matter. That makes logical sense. So these bodies, these human bodies, we've been given by God to try to understand that we are not these bodies and understand who He is. He's giving us many different examples of who He is. He's saying and previously in the Bhagavad-gita too, He says that, I'm the taste of water. I'm the purifiers, I am wind. So we taste water, we feel the wind, we can remind ourselves of God. So He's giving us ways we can also remember God, because that's the meaning of life, is to always remember God. So we should use these bodies to cultivate pure devotional service, and our mission here is to deliver the world and bring the world to come to pure devotional service. So how can we do that? Well, the first step is becoming very, very, very humble with our dealings with devotees, and understanding that I'm a servant, actually. That's my constitutional position. That's the constitutional position of the living entity. Jivera Shrupa Hoy Krishna Das. One is the eternal servant of Krishna. He has no other business but to serve the Lord. So understanding that means that I must become humble and realize that I am indeed a servant. I am nowhere near the master. Even if I am put in the position of being a master, I am indeed even more of a servant to these people who I am the so-called master of. Like being in a temple authority or even being a guru is a very exalted position, because one has to be the most humble to perform these things. He has to be extremely humble to be able to deal with these people and not get puffed up and thinking, I'm so great. For example, I'm sitting here on a Vyasasana right now. So I have to, in one sense, I'm elevated above all these people here. But I can't think that way, or else my message will not be pure. So I have to beg Krishna to give me humility in order that, so I can deliver this message of the Bhagavad-gita in a nice sense. So this is actually very difficult for me. So I could only imagine what it's like to be somebody on an exalted position that is actually given the role of master, supposedly master. Anyway, there's a nice quote that I read from the Srimad Bhagavatam recently. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 7:14-40. This is Narada Muni speaking. Sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, but he factually worships the Lord as the deity. But because he is envious of authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service. So this right here is describing that we must become very humble in order for the Lord to actually accept our service. And one who is an authorized devotee of Lord Vishnu is one who is chanting 16 rounds and following the four regular principles. So it doesn't matter whether or not that there are juniors or are seniors. If they're chanting they're chanting 16 rounds every day without fail, following the four regular principles very strictly, then he's an authorized devotee of Lord Vishnu, and in one sense has no faults. So we should not find faults in these people. We should check myself first, because I am so full of faults, and until I am faultless, I have no duty to point out anybody else's faults, unless I've been directly given that service by somebody who is authorized to give me that service. And if not, my only business is to find my faults within myself. And I have no business finding faults in others, because I'm just not pure yet. I have no business doing that. But this is very nice that he's saying that because he is envious of authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never actually satisfied with his devotional service. So in order to satisfy Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, we have to become very, very, very humble. And that's the hard part. We're coming from this material world where we're becoming coming from a mentality in the material world where I'm above everybody. I worry about good old number one, which is me. That's what the mentality that I have, and I'm sure other people are struggling with the same thing. But good old number one is not me. Good old number one is actually God, and we are below him. And automatically, if we are below God, we're below all of his servants. And we must see ourselves that way in order for us to actually attain a nice way of cultivating devotional service and to attract other people too, because nobody's attracted to somebody who's puffed up. We're attracted to seeing somebody, wow, this person is actually tasting so much pleasure because he just wants to serve the devotees. He just wants to serve not just those who externally appear as a devotee, but all the living entities. He wants to serve every living being and give them the highest platform of knowledge, highest platform of peace, which is Krishna consciousness. So we must cultivate this mentality of this being the lowest of the low, lower than the dog's stool, lower than the worm in the stool, lower than the worm's stool in the dog's stool. If I can see myself lower than that, then I might begin to actually render pure devotional service. And I may actually begin to satisfy Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna with my devotional service. Sometimes I think that, whenever I don't even know if Krishna is accepting an apple when I offer it to him, because I'm thinking, I want to enjoy this. I'm rushing through my mantras, I'm chanting. And it's, I don't even know if Krishna accepts that. But, I'm trying to perform my duty, so I can only pray that he is accepting it so that I can become free from this karmic reaction. And the reason our acharyas and mahatmas are being able to, or the mahatmas and our acharyas are able to do so much in our movement, like Srila Prabhupada, And other devotees we can see in our movement that are doing so much amazing service because they actually feel themselves this way. They actually feel themselves extremely low. They don't envy anybody, and they don't necessarily they don't have this crud in their heart. And the thing is why they don't have it in their heart is because they actually think they do. They think it's still there. They think it's still there extremely deeply, and they're working so hard because they see themselves as so fallen. So that's the level we have to come to in order to actually do something for Srila Prabhupada, do something for our gurus, Sampradaya Acharyas, and that's the order we're given. That's the order we're given to become perfect in understanding the science of Krishna consciousness, to become guru and to deliver the world. That's our marching orders, actually. That's what we're being prescribed to do. And I can't do that. I have to first understand the science of Krishna consciousness perfectly, and if I'm puffed up, then I can't understand it. I have to become very humble. And I heard a very amazing thing from a very exalted devotee here at our temple. I won't give any names, but he's the Bhakta leader living in the Bhakta ashram. He said that we have hundreds and thousands of devotees on the line simply on my doing. By my own Krishna consciousness, there's hundreds and thousands of devotees on the line, and we have to become very serious in order that I'll actually be able to help these hundreds of thousands of devotees. If I slip, I fall, if I don't become serious, if I don't become pure, then hundreds and thousands of devotees will just not never, but at least now, by my influence, will not take up pure devotional service. And if I can get one of them, if I can get hundreds of thousands of people to take a book, to chant the holy name, to take prasadam, because of my own cultivation of spiritual consciousness, then each one of those hundreds of thousands of devotees will spread another hundreds of thousands of devotees. In this way, it will multiply and multiply and multiply. But it starts here with me right now, cultivating pure devotional service, cultivating real humility within myself, realizing that I am the lowest, I am nothing, I am the most insignificant servant, and begging Lord Chaitanya, begging my Guru to please engage me in his service. Please engage me, please use me as his instrument. If I am thinking that I'm the one doing this service, that I'm the one performing this, whatever my service is, I'm the one washing these pots, I'm the one distributing these books, I'm the one giving this class, then I'm the most fallen rascal. I have to know that I have to beg these great souls to work through me because I have nothing. I have no good qualities. I'm struggling to chant my rounds. I'm struggling to stay awake. I'm struggling not to think of women. I'm struggling with so many different ways. I'm a total basket case. And if I can't see myself this way and I'm thinking that I'm the one doing all of this, then I'm actually an idiot. Like, I'm the biggest idiot in the whole three worlds, because I'm still thinking I'm independent while I'm trying to serve Krishna, who says we're always dependent on him. So we have to become very determined also to cultivate this way of thinking and this way of devotion. And there's, wow, how could I ever do that? How could I ever do that? But there's a nice example of Garuda and the little sparrow. I'm sure many people have heard this one. There's this little sparrow, and she has these eggs that she lays next to the ocean. And one day the tide comes and takes her eggs away. And she's thinking, very determined to get her eggs back. How can I get my eggs back, my little children? So she becomes very determined that she'll go with her little tiny beak and take a drop of the ocean and put it away until she can find her eggs again, to dry up the whole ocean on her own. And everybody's laughing at her. Ha ha ha, this stupid idiot. What are you thinking? You can't do that. You can't dry up the ocean. But she didn't care. She kept doing it. Determination. And all the other birds, all the other living entities were laughing at her. But there was one person that wasn't laughing. And that was Garuda, the king of the birds. And he shows up and he demands the ocean, you give these eggs back, or I will dry you up with my mystic power. So if we develop this determination to become a pure devotee, to become fully purified from all my lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy, laziness, craziness, then we have Garuda, we have Srila Prabhupada, we have all the acharyas, we have all the great souls that will be there to help us and give us their blessings to do this, which is necessarily not an easy task. So thank you very much for listening to me. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this subject matter? Or maybe Maharaj has something also? Magadari Prabhu? Ki Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I was listening to one class today from Srila Prabhupada, and he said a statement which I never heard him say before. He said, matter has no power. I just thought that was really cool. And it was in the Isha Upanishad lecture that he was giving. And he gave an example after that, and I thought that this purport was kind of touching on that. There's the airplane, big airplane, but unless there's a pilot, there's some minute living entity or living being, then it'll sit in the junkyard for 10,000 years. And Prabhupada said, and just see how foolish. Because such a simple thing as this airplane requires some life to operate it. And we don't think that this whole universe doesn't have someone behind it like that.
Jai, it's a very nectar realization. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Did you raise your hand? Okay, Bhakta Damodar Prabhu, Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. Please accept my humble obeisances. I was just wondering, externally, at the temple, living in the ashram, externally, we're surrounded by Krishna consciousness. There's so many pictures that you got Shri Shri Gauranitai here, surrounded by devotees. But internally, none of that is sometimes, well, most of the time, it's my heart is vacant, or it's full of not Krishna consciousness, full of Maya. I was wondering, could you talk about that a little bit? Why is it that externally we're surrounded by Krishna consciousness, paintings, all so many nice things. Internally, nothing's there.
Is there a general question or just maybe talk on that?
Yeah, well, why is that,
Because we're stupid.
Okay.
Krishna's blessed us with all these different, ways to be Krishna conscious at every single moment. Anywhere I look, picture, devotee, book, kirtan in my ears, prasadam in my mouth, but I still can't remember Krishna. And I'm an idiot. I'm stupid, But, that's okay. But by being in that environment, one day we will look and wow, there's Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavana, savior of the fallen souls, Srila Prabhupada. Or I'll see Pampra and I'll just be amazed and stand here all day looking at each and every acharya in our line and just being, wow. This is just amazing. They give their whole life to give this to me. They've given their whole life to give this Krishna consciousness to me and to the whole world. Or I'll see a book and I'll be like, wow, I should read that book. And I read that book and it's wow, I've been missing this. I've been here for, however long. And like, I've been missing this. And that's the thing, like even if we do taste it, we're going to still be able, there's still more we can extract. Even if at every moment we are Krishna conscious, there's still more we can extract from all that. Like, wow, like, so each thing in our movement is like infinitely deep. Like each verse is infinitely deep. Each picture infinitely, like the whole spiritual world is there. So if we just surround ourselves with it long enough time, eventually we'll get something. Eventually we'll become smart and intelligent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances and thanks for dealing with me. That was a wonderful class. Preach like a lion, in my opinion. I'm wondering if I could just share the translation of Jiv Jago. Is it a song?
That'd be cool.
Because I was listening to Srila Prabhupada sing this yesterday, and it really feels like he's crying these lyrics for us sleeping souls. Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, quote, I fall at the Lord's feet having taken this Maha Mantra, end quote. So, like you said, we have so many things and we still don't have a higher taste, but the determination of the bird isn't drinking the water to save our eggs. It's to be always situated with sadhu sangha, with guru and shastra, and to try and use our technology that we're so fortunate to have in this time properly, and to, drink the nectar and search for the nectar that is in devotional service by the devotees. So thank you for such an inspiring class and for revealing your heart to us, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for your nectar comment. That was really, thank you so much. That was amazing. Jiv to go. How much longer will I sleep on the lap of the witch named Maya? The Lord Chaitanya is calling. He's calling to us. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And it's like the alarm's going off and we're just laying there. No, I like it. Sleep. No, wake up, you rascal. Wake up, you idiot. There's so much bliss to be tasted. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to recite a verse that I was thinking of when we were talking about these topics. We're in the temple and externally everything's like high vibration, and why aren't we taking that in? So, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankar vimudatma kartahamiti manyute. The bewildered spirit soul, thinking himself the doer of activities. The bewildered spirit soul under the three modes of material nature thinks himself the doer of activities when in actuality they're carried out by nature. So we're still under the three modes of nature, mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So hopefully we can take in the vibrations here and rise to the platform of pure goodness. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for quoting that. Yeah, we gotta tie up this heavy boot, and we just have to kick out all that nonsense. Just kick it out. Just kick it out with boot, and just say, you have no more business here in my heart. I am not the doer. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. And maybe we will eventually, if we have that mood, if we aspire to kick out all laziness, craziness, madness, illusion, envy, all of this, if we aspire to kick it out, we'll attain that level. So technically we're out of time. Anybody have any last burning comments or questions? Sai, thank you, devotees. Thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for allowing me to try to serve by giving this class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Vansakalpati Vasakripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavani. Krishna.